Go away from my window. See that children shows his teeth. I'm not the one you wanted. I'm not the one you say you're there for someone to be, but always strong. Protect you and defend you, whether you are right or wrong. The one who died for you and more. It ain't me, baby. No, 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 it ain't me, baby. It ain't me, no, yeah. Happy Mother's Day from the U.S. This is Charles. This is Kathy May, and we're live on Mother's Day.
Yes.
Welcome to our YouTube. Welcome to our subscribers. It's been a great day here in the U.S. It's warm, pretty warm, 92 degrees Fahrenheit. We had a great day. Went to a local restaurant that we like a lot for a Mother's Day buffet, and there was more food than I think I've ever seen in my life. It was huge.
Mm-hmm.
We had, oh my gosh, we had roast beef and country style steak and mashed potatoes, and Kathy May had salmon and sweet potato casserole and all kinds of vegetables and a salad bar.
And your rice.
Oh yeah, can't forget rice. That's right. Lots of rice from Kathy May.
Yes.
And then they came around and wanted to know if we wanted strawberry shortcake for dessert, and just both of us said, no, I don't think we can do that. That's just a little bit too much.
But they still served us.
They gave us a little tiny square, just to kind of give us
Hi,
that
Robert.
taste. So anyway, we had a great time. Great, just wonderful time. It's a restaurant that we really like a lot. Hilltop Restaurant over in Monroe, North Carolina. So we had a ton of fun there. And I was starting off the live session with the song that was written by Bob Dylan, It Ain't Me, Babe. It was recorded by Johnny Cash. That's my favorite version. It's called It Ain't Me. And the chorus line is pretty good. It's, it ain't me, babe. It ain't me, And that's a good message for Mother's Day, because that's what I tell Kathy May. That if she's looking for someone to love her perfectly, completely, absolutely, unconditionally, under every circumstance, it's not me. It needs to be Jesus. Jesus is the one that can do that. And if I'm looking to her, for her to love me perfectly, unconditionally, absolutely, under every circumstance, no matter what kind of boneheaded, stupid thing I do, then I'm in trouble too, because Jesus is the only one that loves me when I do stupid, boneheaded things. He's the one that gives perfect love. But this past week, I was thinking about it, that God does use the significant others in our lives I want to be very careful how I say this. He does pour his love through significant others in our lives. He certainly pours his love through Kathy May to me. And I certainly pray that he pours his love through me to Kathy May. But if I'm looking to her for that perfect love, under all circumstances, I'm in trouble. And this is kind of what that song says. It says, part of it says that, I like the part that says, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's true.
You say you're looking for someone to pick you up each time you fall, to gather flowers constantly, and to come each time you call. and to love you for your life and nothing more. Well, that's a tall order that just nobody can really stand up to that. And I think I see that a lot in counseling. I see that couples come in and they're looking for that. They're pretty disappointed because they were looking for, to quote Bob Dylan, they were looking for someone to pick them up every single time they fall, to gather flowers constantly, to overlook every single fault they got, to come every single time they call, and to love them for their life and nothing more. That they love them and love them and love them and never get anything in return. Well, that's just not possible. That's why God gives us perfect love. That's why He's the one that really can only fulfill those perfect needs. So that's why I kind of like that song. It kind of reminds me that if I'm starting to look to Kathy May for every one of my needs, I'm in trouble and I need to change.
Yes.
But does that not mean that we have a ton of fun together? Oh, absolutely. We have tons of fun together. And,
Sorry, go ahead.
and then just to follow up what I was saying, people ask me about this in counseling. They get confused because I tell them that it's God's perfect love. You have to look for God's perfect love to be the source of your strength. But they get confused because it's like, well, wait a minute. Does that mean that I shouldn't want my wife and my husband to love me? And I tell them no, that God does certainly use people in our lives, like our spouses and our significant others, to show His love and to pour His love through that person to us. But that person's it's not the love that comes from that person. It's not their strength. It's God's love that's being poured through them. That's a huge difference. Sometimes it's difficult to understand, but it's a huge, huge, huge difference.
So you have a message from Robert Blake. Charles, you are so right with that statement. Jesus is the true and only one that loves us. And also, Cool Chica Vlogs. Hi everyone. Happy Mother's Day. Hi Flyer Stone. So what can you say about what Robert says?
Robert, I mean, that's so true. I see it, like I said, I sit in counseling sessions with couples and they're just broken, they're shattered. And one of the things that I try to tell them is that, it's like you're out in the desert and you're starving. You're absolutely you've been out there for days and days and you haven't had anything to eat, nothing to drink, and you're absolutely starving. And then all of a sudden you come up and you see, like in this case, I see Kathy May. And so Kathy May's got a bag of Wendy's burgers. And I'm like, yes, it's Wendy's burgers. So I go and I beg her. I was like, the first time I'm pretty cool. The first time I say, could I please have some of those Wendy's burgers? Well, then what if she says, I don't think so. Well, then the second time I'm going to be a little more forceful. I'm going to be like, well, wait a minute. You've got a bag of Wendy's burgers. I'm starving. I need some of those Wendy's burgers. And then what if she says, no? Well, then I'm going to get a little more forceful. And I'm like, give me some of those Wendy's burgers. You don't need the whole bag. And she says, no. Well, then I'm going to eventually get what? Eventually I'm going to get what? I'm going to get angry.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, give me some of those Wendy's burgers. But see, here's the problem. I think she's got a bag of Wendy's burgers and I'm starving. I know for sure that I'm starving. I'm right about that. I'm starving for worth, for love, for acceptance, for security. I'm starving for those four things. I'm right about that. Here's the problem. I'm wrong. She doesn't have the Wendy's burgers. I think she's got the Wendy's burgers. I think she's got the bag of Wendy's burgers. I know I'm starving. And so eventually I get angry that she's not giving me the Wendy's burgers because I know I'm starving. Well, see, guess what? Kathy May's starving too. She's been out in the desert. She hasn't had anything to eat or drink for days. And she comes up and guess what? What do you think? What do you think I've got?
What's that?
The bag of Wendy's burgers. You think I've got the bag of Wendy's burgers, okay? And so the first thing you do is you ask, what?
Baba Brands burger.
Yeah, you ask me for a Wendy's burger. And what if I tell you, no?
I will get mad.
Yeah, eventually
I'm
you'll
going
get
to
mad.
grab it.
Well, yeah. Eventually, that's probably what happens is we try to grab that love or that acceptance or that worth from the other person because we know we're starving. God created us that way. We desperately need that love. We desperately need that worth and acceptance, that security. Those four things: love, acceptance, worth, security. So she knows she needs those things. So she thinks, I got the bag of Wendy's burgers. And she's right. She's going to try to eventually grab that sucker. She's going to try to force me to give her the Wendy's burgers. But I don't have the bag. I don't have the things that she needs. And then when she's trying to grab the bag of Wendy's burgers from me, and I'm trying to grab the bag of Wendy's burgers from her, what kind of fights do you think we're going to have? We're going to have some legendary fights, believe me. There's going to be some legendary problems in that relationship. And this is what kind of that song reminds me of, that one of the other verses that I like in it is, you say you're looking for someone who will promise never, ever to part, someone to close his eyes for you. Just close his eyes, ignore every thought you've got, give and give and give and give, no matter what you do to me. Someone to close his heart, like I said, ignore every hurt that person is inflicting upon me. Someone to die for you and more. And then the song says, and it ain't me. No, 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 it ain't me. It ain't a little country lick there to end that one for you.
Can you sing one more song?
Can we sing one more? Yeah. Okay. Yes, we can do that. In that space. Excuse me.
You forgot it?
I just stop and think. I've got it ate me on the brain here. Pardon me. Oh, okay. The day I started loving you again, I'm right back where I really always been. I got over you just long enough to let my heartache through. And today I started loving you again. What a fool I was to think I could get by with only these few million tears I've cried. I should have known the worst was yet to come. And for me, crying time had just begun. And today I started loving you again. I'm right back where I really always been. I got over you just long enough to let my heartaches mend. And today I started loving you again. Yesterday I started loving you. You again. The great Merle Haggard sang that song. So we go from one country music great like Johnny Cash to another country music great like Merle Haggard.
Oh, that's awesome.
So did we get a request for me to sing a song, or did we get a request for me not to sing a song? Probably more requests not to sing a song.
They're a bit quiet today. I think it's because weekend. Everyone is busy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
People are off doing other things.
Yeah, it's saying that like earlier it was like 11 watching, and now thank you, Sis Belen. This is from Belen said, "Hi, Sir Charles and Mom Kathy. Happy to watching both of you. Bait pala ni Sir Charles." She said, "You're so nice."
Thank you.
And you have a message from Robert. Charles, one day when I'm in Charlotte, I hope that we can meet and play again like we did in Gastonia. I do a lot of praise and worship leading.
Oh, that'd be great, Robert. That would be fabulous.
Yeah, you're then.
Love to get together.
Yeah. So you still remember him?
Yeah, it's been some years back, but yes, I recall because I used to play in some of the Christian coffee houses and things in Gastonia, and I think it's been a while back, but I think I played in some churches in Gastonia. So yes, it's been a while back, but yes, I do remember. So yes, Robert, that'd be fun. Would enjoy doing that.
We're always in Charlotte almost every Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we've been there yesterday, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. We go probably more on the weekends. Probably in Charlotte, more on the weekends, and then Monroe and Locust outside of Charlotte during the week.
Happy Mother's Day as well, Jane. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jane. Happy Mother's Day to you. So what kinds of questions are we getting?
I think we can do that in the next video. Not for today.
Okay.
We can just we're going to do a Q&A very soon. And we're going to upload a video or where they can leave a comment with their questions.
Yes. So that's right. So we were talking about it earlier today that we'll probably put together a Q&A session coming up fairly soon, I think. So we're looking forward to that. So what do we want to tell our viewers today?
What do you want?
We were reflecting earlier that God certainly worked in my life on Mother's Day a number of years ago. That was when I was at a little place called Lance Chapel back in the early 70s in Charlotte. And God just touched my heart and poured out his Holy Spirit on me that day. And I made a little piano bench into an altar, and God just cleansed me. And I just remember tears streaming down my face and God touching me and speaking to me. And from that day forward, I can truly say that my life has changed, that God's totally, completely changed my outlook on life. And one of the reasons that I knew that sometimes God just gives us maybe a little crisis to kind of cement in our hearts what he's done. Because I remember driving back from Lance Chapel that day. We lived on one side of Charlotte and Lance Chapel was way on the other side. So it was a pretty good trip usually to get back and forth. And so we were driving this big 64 Chrysler Saratoga, and one of the tires blew out and we had a flat tire. So this is a big car. It is not an inconsequential thing to change a tire on a big Chrysler Saratoga. I mean, the tires were this big around. So, but you know what? Normally that would have really aggravated me, but you know, I just got out of the car and I just like, praise God, whatever you want, Lord. So just got out of the car and my dad and I were together and I helped him get the spare tire out and I broke the nuts, took off the nuts on the lug nuts on the wheel and got him off in record time, took the spare tire, got it on, put the flat tire in the back of the car and boom, we were gone in no time. And it just didn't bother me at all. It's just like, okay, it's fine. God's in control. I'm praising him. Life is good.
And you just gave me the letter, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have kind of a little journal that I've kept back and forth since about 2012. I don't put entries in it all the time, but I put a number of entries, just whatever God's spoken to me. So a lot of times, I'll be sitting someplace and God will just, that's what God does. It's spontaneous thoughts. It's not an audible voice, but he'll just kind of break into our thoughts and speak through the thoughts. And so as I reflected this morning, God just spoke to me and just said, you know what? You need to put some entries in your journal today. And so Kathy May's talking about that, but I put in several pages of entries in the journal and I was reflecting on what God had done in that day, Mother's Day, back at Lance Chapel. He's certainly changed my life since then. And Kathy May's had her life changed a little bit here in the last few years too, since we met. She started off in the Philippines, in Valenzuela, right?
Yes.
And that's in the suburb of Manila. And so she went from Valenzuela and to the suburb of Manila to a different suburb in Manila over a period of time for several years. Then over a period of several years, about a little over 2 years, then she was able to do whatever to get a visa and bring her to the U.S. And here she is.
Yeah.
So her life has changed a lot too in the last several years.
Yes, a lot.
What God's been doing in your life?
I think it makes me closer and closer to him.
How?
Having a wonderful husband.
Well, okay. That was a good answer, okay. What else?
Yeah.
That was a good start.
And I think he makes me stronger and stronger each day.
That's good.
I don't know. I don't know how to talk really if it's live. I'm a bit conscious.
You're the YouTube expert.
Yeah. You want to give one more song before we end? It's really, we've been here for around, I think, 24 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're going to finish after this song.
We can do that. Here's a fun song. We hit some of the country music greats with Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard, and there's no session that we complete without country music greats, without something from the legendary Hank Williams. Hey, hey, good looking. This is dedicated to you. Hey, hey, good looking. What you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? I'm free and I'm ready, so we can go steady. How's about saving all your time for me? Can you save all your time for me? I got a hot rod going down a $2 bill. There's a spot right over the hill. There's the pump and the dancing street. But if you wanna have fun, come along with me. Say, hey, good looking. What you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? I'm free and I'm ready, so we can go steady. How's about keeping steady company? And I throw my paper over the fence. Buy me 1 for 5 or 10 cents. Keep it covered with age, cause I'm writing your name down every page. The name of every page of my paper. Say, hey, good looking boy, you got cooking. How's about cooking something up? How's about cooking something up? How's about cooking something up with you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Bye-bye from Charles and
Kathy May.
Kathy May.
Bye, guys. Happy Mother's Day again to all mothers in the whole world.
That's right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. God bless you all. See you again next time. Bye, Sis Irma. I gotta turn it on. I don't know how to turn it on, actually. I think this one.